Good morning. What's happening? Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 269. A little early today on a Tuesday. Um, thanks for joining in. Couple things that I wanted to touch on, mostly show and tell today. I'm going to show off the item that started off my Cubs baseball card obsession. I showed off a picture of it on Twitter yesterday, but I was reading the back and it was fascinating to me. So I'm going to share that. And I bought a bunch of vintage wrestling magazines that I actually started selling off my wrestling magazine collection. I started listing them last week, and but I found this deal on a Facebook group that was too good to pass up. And it was even better when it arrived in the mail. It was even better. I only paid like $2 an issue. So a killer deal that I'll show off as well. Clint, what's good? What's up? Good morning. What's up, George? So I'm starting to like tread water on everything. I'm kind of juggling a few things. eBay store, my Cubs mail still piling up, and my card room and my rec room have just been an absolute disaster. So I figured I need to do some cleaning before I can really make some like good progress in the different balls I'm juggling. So I got caught up on Saturday with my eBay store shipments. Made the trip over to the flea market, which I shared in Sunday's video, episode 267. So I shared that, and then did a little more shipping on Sunday morning, and then really tackled throughout Sunday this card room. And I was able to find, since I have so many trade packages to return, I was able to find some good stuff to trade off. And some of the trades that I'm backed up on. So I'm not actively pursuing trades, but I have, some have trickled in that, I'll have to return. What's up, Dan? Good morning. Need to start adding some hobby vibes. I like it. Get the day started right with some hobby talk. So I finished up, for the most part. This card room has been, what's up, Diego, has been mostly organized. I'm trying to squeeze, because the closet next here is just absolutely, I'm afraid when I open the door, the closet, it's just going to fall, and hundreds of pounds of cards are going to fall on me and trap me. So I'm trying to like just absolute maximize space in this room so I can kind of loosen up the closet area. So I cleaned up the rec room, and so my goal in here is to get everything situated. There's still stuff. I've got boxes of stuff that are going to be in quarter boxes, so I've got to get that stuff organized. I've got a sorting table in here that just has piles of cards on it. Get that cleaned up so I can start sleeving cards. I've got a box of 30,000 penny sleeves coming. I've got to check in on. I haven't received a shipment notification. Ordered it last week, so I need to get those in, and then I can sleeve cards. So I'll utilize the card room and the sorting table to get some of that done. So that's kind of what's been going on, and I do have. All right, hey, thanks for dropping by, Clint. So I got a couple things in the mail yesterday. First off, I'm going to start with wrestling, and so Ken last night tweeted me, and man buried under cards is okay. So Ken tweeted at me about the living set comes out on Monday for WWE. I quit buying them a couple weeks ago. I bought the first 20, and then based on who the subjects were in 21 and 22, that was going to be my decision on whether or not I was going to keep collecting. They were current wrestlers. So I wanted a balance. Like, to me, optimal WWE living set would have been one legend, one current, moving forward. And that hasn't been the case. And again, this week it's current wrestlers, Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal. So 2 more current guys. So I made the right decision. I'm bowing out. I'll put my 20. I'm just going to put them up in my eBay store and hopefully get rid of them. So I'm I'm done with the living set. Good morning, Mark. What's up, Jeremy? Yeah, Mark said they needed legends for me to buy. Yeah, exactly. And it hasn't been the case. And now it's getting to the point where there's so many current wrestlers that even if legends do pop up, I'm not going to buy them. Had they released a couple legends this week, I may have gone back and bought, the 2 or 4 that I was missing and started the run, but it just looks like they're going to run all current guys. So Marco likes, I was showing off some of these magazines. So I bought these magazines. What's up, Zach? Good morning. So I found them on a Facebook group. My winter hobby away from my hobby was going to be to collect wrestling magazines like I did back in the 90s. Wrestling magazines took me away from baseball cards, basketball cards in the mid 90s. What's up, Brad? And so I got a subscription for Pro Wrestling Illustrated, which was my favorite PWI back in the day. Got a subscription, enjoyed reading it. I'm going to go back and I'm going to try to collect the run of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Only went back to 1979, so it's pretty easily obtainable. You can still buy back issues from the last 5 or 6 years through their website. So I'm thinking, hey, this is a good hobby away from the hobby because it's going to be a long winter with COVID and cold weather in Wisconsin. But then I started bulking up my eBay store, and that's all my spare time went to eBay listings, shipping, etc. So I bindered up my wrestling magazine collection and kind of set it aside in my storage area. And every once in a while, I'll pull an issue out. I'll flip through it, but it just hasn't brought me the joy that I thought it would. So I started selling off the old wrestling magazines. Actually, I got a notification this morning. I sold 4 of them at $10, $15 a pop. So that was a nice little morning alert. And I've sold a couple of the 70s issues. So I started listing last week, and then all of a sudden I'm in a Facebook group and somebody's got a bunch of 60s magazines. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I was interested and I said, how much? He gave me a price, and it ended up being shipped for 24 magazines, $2 an issue. So I couldn't pass that up. Some really good stuff. And so I looked, and so I got a pile of these, I think 12 of them, Big Time Wrestling. These are programs from the Northwest from 1962 and 63. And these are hard, these are not, I wouldn't call them rare. But they don't come up. On eBay, I don't think there are any of these issues on eBay for sale currently, maybe one. And I looked at the sold, there's, maybe 1 or 2 in the last 90 days or so these are all from 62, 63. And what's cool is inside, look at that picture. I don't know. And a lot of these guys, I'm not big on 60s wrestling. I don't know much about 60s wrestling. But this is tonight's program. So these are the actual, you bought these for 50 cents back in 1962. So the card here, you've got, looks like a tag team match, Mitsu Arakawa, Kenji Shibuya versus Ray Stevens and Don Manikunian. Bearcat Wright, Gene the Sheik. So here's the Sheik actually on this cover from what year is this? 1962, August. The Von Brauners. So these are super cool. Yeah, Ray the Crippler Stevens. So here's Lou Thez. He's one of the all-time greats. This is one of the Von Erichs. I'm not sure if that's Waldo or Fritz. Wilbur Snyder. June 63. This might be the Sheik also. I'm not sure. Is that the Sheik? Mark would know. And then here's another one. I'm not sure who these guys are, but very cool. And then there was Inside Wrestling from 1975, Dos Caras. In the bottom there, you've got Victor. I'm not sure who that is. This is from 1976, Bruno Sammartino from 76. There's a really cool Bruno coming up. This is Official Wrestling Magazine from 1975. And I love some of the advertisements. There's one, and if I find it, I'll have to tweet it out because I found it last night. I didn't take a picture, but really cool stuff. Official Wrestling Magazine, the Briscoes and Funks feud from 1975. This is really cool. I like this one. The original Nature Boy, Buddy Rogers, 1963, Wrestling World magazine. So this is one of the first. Wrestling World was still being published fairly recently. And so this is an early issue. They started publishing these in 1962. This is a 1963. There's a number 2 issue in here somewhere. Here is Dick the Bruiser on a Wrestling World. And it's got Bruno on the back when it was the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. So that's a pretty cool pinup. Some of these have the color pinups inside. Here's a Big Time Wrestling program from like the 70s. And there's actually the wrestling in NWA wrestling card. Not like a trading card, but like the match card from the Cow Palace in San Francisco, NWA 1977. This is pretty cool. I like wrestling cards, as in these things, not actual trading cards. Couple more here. This is Leo Nomaleni. I'm not familiar with him. How about that picture? That's a boot to the face, literally. So here's from 64. This is less than a year into Bruno Sammartino's first title run. He won the title in, mid 63, I think. So this is from February of 64. Shoot, I'm throwing things everywhere. This, I think, is this one. Yeah, this is issue number 2 of Wrestling World magazine. Don't have issue 1, but this is issue number 2. That's the Nature Boy, Buddy Rogers. Couple more here. Wrestling Review from 1963. And the last one, Wrestling Review from 1962. So couldn't pass these up. Like $2 a piece for those magazines. And that was the shipped price. So very cool stuff. So now let's talk baseball. So this is the item that began my Chicago Cubs baseball card obsession. 1989 Topps team set. This is what I received. Not this exact item, but this is the item that started it all. I had a similar. The one I had, I ripped open right away. In fact, I ripped it open in the car. I can still remember going through these cards. I waited 6 to 8 weeks because it was like a mail-in. My mom mailed in like 8 UPC codes and $4.99 for shipping, and I waited 6 to 8 weeks. And I remember it was in the summer, probably late summer, 1989, and it came in the mail. And we were out running errands. It was a summer day, and I remember opening it up in the drive-through lane at our local bank. We were in the drive-through lane of the local bank, and I was going through, and the Ty Griffin card, that's the one that, like, whoa, what's this? He's not even in a Cubs uniform. This is weird. So that's what I love. So the packaging was thrown out that day in 1989, but this is, I'm going to keep this obviously sealed. I've got plenty of 89 Topps, so I don't need the cards, but I wanted the item itself. So this was the set that started it all. 89 Topps when I began my Cubs collecting. So I love the back, and because in 1989 I wasn't really paying attention. I didn't want to read. I wanted the cards. I didn't care about what was on the back. But I'm going to read some of this because this is the first time I saw this, and I thought it was very cool. It starts off with Chicago Cubs World Series contenders, and I know that sounds kind of funny. They actually were World Series contenders in 1989, made the playoffs. An early exit. This was the boys of Zimmer. Don Zimmer was the manager, so they actually were World Series contenders in '89. So I like some of the paragraphs here. Baseball card collecting is America's fastest growing hobby and an exciting investment. 1989. What began a century ago as a hobby is now big business for all ages. Rookie cards score the biggest gains in the 1980s, with annual investment returns averaging 40%. Oh, I love this. The average return for all baseball cards in the 80s has exceeded 25% annually. Now you can get in on the fun and excitement by collecting the cards of your team, the Chicago Cubs. So then it talks a little bit about the Cubs. And here it gives some, I like this. For the baseball card collector, the Cubs have done very well. Cards of early Cubs, such as Tinker, Evers, and Chance, are eagerly sought by collectors at prices that sometimes top $100. A rookie card of Ernie Banks is currently priced at $350. And actually, you can, well, a year ago, you could get them raw for less than that, but now they have gone up. While one of Billy Williams brings about $35. And this is even better. Cards of the current Cubs. Cards of some of the current Cubs are also investor and collector favorites. A Ryan Sandberg rookie card is currently priced at $6, which it's not much more than that now. In just a few months, Rafael Palmeiro rookie cards rose to 50 cents. Amazing Mark Grace rookie cards have done even better, jumping to $2 and up. Now, those have actually gone the other way. While Greg Maddux rookies rose to about $1, and those are actually above that price now. And then it talks about, and then it's got like it's got a disclaimer at the bottom, which I like. Each Mega Cards team set includes every regular issue Topps card of your favorite team as originally produced by Topps. Several months before opening day, Topps decides which cards will be issued and on what teams players will be featured. Teams trade players and bring up new rookie prospects in the offseason, in spring training, and during the season itself. When these changes occur, Topps does not make corresponding adjustments or issue new cards for their regular sets. Therefore, Mega Cards cannot make any changes in the team sets after the Topps regular issue set is produced. So I thought that was super cool. 89 Topps Cubs team set. This is what I received in the mail. How many years ago? 32? Is that right? 32 years ago. So I'm sorry I'm missing the chat here. So Zach, Bo, you should have opened a savings deposit at the bank that day and put those Cubs in there. Imagine the value sitting on them to this day. They would have been worth probably what I paid for. I think I paid $12 for this. And I'm not sure. The shipping and handling was probably like $2.99 back in the day, and 8 UPC codes. So probably in all $12 spent on whatever cereal that was UPC codes were used in shipping and handling. So fun stuff. If anyone has Audible, I highly recommend the book Mint Condition. Super interesting. Jeremy, I have that book, and I haven't read it. I picked it up, I think, at a Goodwill or maybe in the used bookshelf at Barnes & Noble. I have the book, but I haven't read it. In fact, the one book that I waited years for, the Wax Pack book, I waited, I remember him, he created a Twitter, before he even, what's up, Herman? Before he even, went on the road to interview the subjects from his Wax Pack, he created a Twitter about it, and I'm like, oh, this is, the most amazing idea. I can't wait for this book. And then it kept getting delayed. I actually bought it when I was in spring training last year, and I think I've read, maybe 4 chapters, and then I go in these runs where I read, I read a lot, and then I go 6 months without reading a book. I'll hammer out a book in 3 days, and then I'll wait 6 months and not read. So I'll pull that out if I can find it. I don't know where it might still be in my. I have in my nightstand. I have a drawer with just piles of books that either I've read or I'm about to read. And at one time it was in there, but I may have switched them out. So I do have that book, and I will have to read, because I don't even think I've like attempted, like I don't even think I've opened it up to actually start reading it. So as opposed to the Wax Pack book, I read it on the plane, flying back from Arizona, and then so maybe half the book I read. I can't remember, but that's what I had for today. So thanks for sticking through the wrestling talk. Ken will watch the replay, and he'll enjoy the wrestling talk. So that's about all. I have some shipments to get caught up on now. My sales. Oh, Brad, I caught your show on replay later yesterday. So my sale, I think you mentioned something about eBay sales and what I'm seeing. My sales have been slow, mostly due in part because I haven't listed very much. So I haven't done, like when I do file exchange, when I'll upload 500 cards, like I'll just get a rash of sales. But I've been like slow loading, like yesterday I listed a bunch of like Heritage Chrome. So these Heritage Chrome, like I listed, I don't know, there's a stack of them, like 20 cards maybe, and most of them sold like yesterday, like within a couple hours of listing. So what's up, Jenny? I'm searching for Mr. Burns' address. Please send friend. So I haven't been listing as much, but that's part. And actually, my slower sales is by design, because I'm gonna. It's supposed to be, although it might rain today. It's supposed to be 80. So if it doesn't rain, I'll get out on the bike. I haven't been on the bike in a couple weeks now because it's been so cold. So my not using file exchange, not listing, has been by design, just so I can keep my head above water in getting things shipped out. For the first time, I had my eBay store mostly caught up, with the exception of like 8 or 10 items to ship, which I haven't had that few items to ship in like 6 months, like probably going back to September, October. It's usually like I like always have 30 or more items to ship at any given time. And I think I'm now back up to like 70 or 80. So I've got to get those caught up. And then I can finish the organization. So I'm at a good point where I'm not like completely underwater in trying to get shipments out. Like when I get more than 100 at a given time, that's kind of when the anxiety sets in, and I'm like down here for hours upon hours shipping. So I'm at a good point with shipping. I've got the rec room is clear. Most of this card room is organized for, not organized, but things are getting into place. So I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulder, that like I'm not completely, like going into the weekend, I had 100 items to ship. I had, my rec room was just a freaking disaster. This room, I had stuff everywhere. Like I was surprised I didn't break an ankle, like stepping over boxes and stuff. So I'm at a good place. I'm at a good place. So catching up on chat here. Very cool. Jeremy has a Carlton Fisk story. I played high school baseball with Eddie Matthews' grandson. Oh, that's awesome. So that's what I had for today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the chat. Brad is coming up next on the Texas Card Dude channel. Oh, and Herman and Ken, I was watching last night. I popped in and said hi, but I had you on in the background. I was reorganizing all this. So I think, is it that shelf? Yeah. So that shelf, that's all Cubs. And then I also have another shelf that size back over in this corner that's you can't see. That's all Cubs. And let me see. I'm going to move the camera. So this is how disorganized the collection. So that's the door, and you can see the closet. So that's like wax and stuff. You see the mega boxes, so that's the wax. And then I've got stuff down there. So now we move over here. This is like the back corner. So that is all Cubs all the way up to the ceiling. So that's all Cubs. And that's probably 3 feet high off the ground, all those boxes. That's all Cubs. And then in the back there, that's another shelf of all Cubs. So that's all Cubs. And then if I can get back, that corner shelf there that's piled up to the ceiling, that's all Cubs as well. That's the sorting table. And then this is where I organize my team stuff, the team boxes. And I need to utilize that shelf a little better because I haven't been doing as much team shipments. So that's the card room. So that's where all the Cubs are, completely disorganized. It's chaos. It's somewhat organized chaos. What's up, David? Good morning. David, I have a couple Ke'Bryan Hayes cards for you, so I need to get those out. Package went out, and there's I'm still underwater with my Cubs mail, but I'm gonna do shipping. Take some breaks today to do some shipping, and then weather dependent. So it'll be today's Tuesday, Wednesday. So maybe Thursday night I'll do a Cubs rip party, and open all my Cubs packages. So Thursday or Friday, it's kind of weather dependent now. Now that it's nice out, I need to get outside and enjoy the weather. I've been hunkered down in the basement all winter long. So now that's what I had for today. Tune in to Brad coming up next, Texas Card Dude channel. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll talk tomorrow.